going on, everybody? Welcome to the intersection where passion meets purpose. I'm your boy, your host, whatever you want to call me, Jermaine Lamore, and I'm here to bring you another episode. But before we do that, if you like the content of this video or any other video that you've seen on my channel, please go below and hit that subscribe button. And if you want to support a brother, you know what I'm saying, like above and beyond what normal people are going to do, then go ahead and hit that notification bell so that you can be notified when I go live or when I post another video. But now that we got that out the way, also I want to promote the merchandise, the creative merchandise. You see the hat? Creative. I want you to go get that. It's on Teespring. The link is below. It's a print-on-demand company called Teespring where you put your order in, they ship it directly to you. So go ahead and get that. The link is below in the description. But let's talk about something right quick, though. Something that I am very, very familiar with, and I've seen throughout the entirety of my life, that thing being the need to endure, the need to be persistent. Okay, so why am I talking about this? Well, this is where passion meets purpose, and so this is how the creative side, and the things that we aspire to can be fulfilled, but also be done so in the light of everything else that has happened, every rough time, every difficult time we've ever had in life. And so it's just turning all of that into something that can change other people's lives as well as our own. Okay? So, endurance. Why do we need endurance? Why exactly do we need endurance? Well, there are things that we aspire to, that we desire to accomplish here in life. And not everything is going to come easy for every single person. Not everybody is born into wealth. Not everybody inherits a whole bunch of wealth or is born with a silver spoon in their mouth, quote unquote. So why is endurance necessary? Well, there's a lot of things that we go through in life, okay? A lot of things that we go through in life that are just unheard of, that are just some of the most difficult things that anybody will ever experience. And some things I've experienced in life, and I've witnessed other people experience in life that I would never wish upon anybody. But people go through things because this is a fallen world and we are sinful people, and not everybody is perfect, and we make crazy decisions all the time that go against God's intended nature for what everything was created for. And so that's why we have a lot of the pain and suffering that we deal with, is because we're in a fallen world and nothing is perfect. And so if you think for 1 second that your journey as a creative, as an entrepreneur, as somebody who's aspiring to something, even as a Christian and as a believer and as a creative or whatever you want to call yourself, there are a lot of different things that come against us that we have to endure, we have to break through. And so when it comes to those different things that come against us, we can do two things. We can allow that to hinder us, or we can allow it to propel us. If we allow it to hinder us, that means that we're just going to sit back and say, oh, well, you know, I was going to aspire to blank. I was going to do X, Y, Z, but this happened, but that happened, but I don't have blank, or I can't do blank, or whatever the case is. Those hindrances, while a lot of them are very valid, and some of them are even self-inflicted, those things can hinder us and keep us from even taking the first step. But see, that's the thing about it, though, is because taking the first step is hard, but it's not the hardest part. Taking that first step is hard. You know what's harder than taking the first step? Taking the second one. Well, why is that? Well, there are a lot of things that we can do, that we can coach ourselves on to take that first initial step to become something, to do something, to accomplish something. We can take that first step. But then after that, when resistance comes, and when turbulence comes, and when other things happen, taking that second step is not always as easy as it appears. It's like, okay, well, once you get going and you build up momentum, you can keep going. Yes, very true. But taking that second step, it's like taking the first step is more of like a mental thing. But when you start taking step after step after step, you start to get weary. You start to get tired. The things that you're carrying start to weigh you down, start to slow you down. And so you have to find the wherewithal to keep taking step after step after step. And that's sometimes that's a lot harder than taking that first initial step. It's a lot harder than taking that first initial step, but it is necessary for what we want to accomplish in our lives. And so I want to encourage you. And so we can either allow those things to hinder us or allow them to propel us. How can we allow those things to propel us? Well, I'm glad you asked. Thank you for being so attentive. We can allow those things to propel us because we can use those as the water boys coach labeled it, tackling fuel. Tackling fuel, tackling fuel. We can use those things to propel us because it's like it's creating a platform for us to propel ourselves off of. But that also goes back to how you handle those situations. Because if you handle them properly, you can change your perspective on what those situations, those hindrances are actually designed to do in our lives. If you change your perspective on it and see it as a way to propel and not to hinder, you can use those much differently because there are other people who are going through the very same things that we are going through. There are other people going through the very same things that we are going through. And other people need to hear our story because we may be a lot further in our faith or in our hope for what is to come than somebody else. And somebody might need to know that, oh, snap, I'm not the only one. Because a lot of times, believers, Christians, I mean, you don't even have to be you don't even have to be a part of any religion to believe this. But a lot of people think that, well, I'm the only one. Nobody's going to know my pain because I'm the only one going through it. Nobody can understand my plight. Nobody can understand my woes. A lot of people feel that. But when you start to hear someone else's story about how they got through the very same thing that you're experiencing, that can give you some type of hope. And say, oh, it worked for them. Let me find out how it worked for them. Let me find out what they did because maybe that thing can work for me as well. And so using those hard times to help somebody else is a great way to use those hindrances and things that we deal with and that we struggle with. And so I just wanted to do this quick video to encourage people. Okay, take that first step. And if you've already taken that first step and you're wondering, well, what am I to do next? I'll tell you to take another one. And to take another one. It's hard. It gets difficult. You have to keep putting one foot in front of the other and doing something progressive towards your goal. One thing that I'm setting for myself to do now is every single day I do at least one thing to get me a little closer to one of my goals. One thing a day. Because think about it. If you do one thing a day to accomplish a greater goal, by the end of the year, you've done 365 things to accomplish something, and you can't tell me that it's not going to come together or not going to manifest when you've done 365 things toward one goal. I am very, very convinced that if I'm able to do that, if I'm able to discipline myself and do that, that I can accomplish some great things if I just take it one day at a time. And so just taking one step, mapping out that plan, creating a vision board for what it is that you want to accomplish and understanding what it takes to get there and taking one step at a time. Keep going. That first step might be hard, but a lot of times that second step is a lot harder because it gets harder to keep going after you get fatigued and everything. So I got a couple quotes I want to give you guys before I get out of here. Oswald Chambers, he says, perseverance is more than endurance. It is endurance combined with absolute assurance and certainty that what we are looking for is going to happen. I'll say that again. Perseverance is more than endurance. It is endurance combined with absolute assurance and certainty that what we are looking for is going to happen. That's what we call faith. We believe on those things that as we take one step at a time towards a goal, that it's going to happen. Now, how do we have that absolute assurance and that certainty? Well, when we are pursuing what God has created us for, He didn't give it to us to just say, well, I'll let him dream. He gave it to us for those things to be accomplished, and so we have to pursue those things with the certainty that he gave us those things for a reason, and he's going to finish the plan that he started within us. We have to start something with those things in mind. I heard somebody say before, you start something with the end in mind. You begin something with the end in mind. I mean, the Bible even says it. Who can build a house without first counting the cost? Because if he starts and he doesn't have what it takes to finish, then people will laugh at him and talk about him and mock him. I'm paraphrasing, of course, but there is a passage, and I'm going to find it and put it below. But there's a passage that says, "Who will build a house without first counting the cost?" Count the cost of what it means to accomplish what it is that you're aspiring to, and take a step, then take another, then take another, then take another. 365 steps. You can get pretty far. All right, I have one more. William Barclay. William Barclay says, endurance is not just the ability to bear a hard thing, but to turn it into glory. Woo! Endurance is not just the ability to bear a hard thing, but to turn it into glory. That's what I was saying earlier when it comes to how we're viewing those hindrances and those different obstacles that we're facing in life. We can turn those things into glory. We may be able to hurdle jump over those hurdles and jump over another one and jump over another one. But we get past them. Cool. But what do we do with those experiences that we learned once we started to master the art of jumping hurdles? What do we do with that experience? Turn it into glory. I'm speaking to myself right now. Okay? There are a lot of hurdles and hindrances in my life that I'm trying to conquer. And I'm changing my perspective because I'm using those things to propel me, but also to turn them into glory. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. I hope this meant something to you. I hope it resonated with you. If not, then still subscribe and still check for the next one because that might help. Maybe. But if it did, I'm glad because that means that my mission was accomplished and I did what I was supposed to do. All right. So thank you guys for tuning in. This is The Intersection. I'm your boy, Jermaine Lamore, and I'll see you next time.